going over the current state of it. Well, it looked like Adam Silver has to insert himself into this whole situation because for whatever reason, these WNBA owners and these WNBA players cannot figure it out.
And that's not an exaggeration. Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner who has stayed largely hands-off from WNBA operations for years, has now stepped directly into the CBA negotiations. When the boss of your boss shows up to clean up the situation, it tells you everything you need to know about how bad things have gotten. The WNBA now has just 8 days left before the January 9th deadline, and at this moment, both sides are farther apart than they were when negotiations began over a year ago.
Even share. The WNBA has been running pretty much on bankrupt tendencies for the last 30 years. These owners has not made a profit. I don't know why these players keep trying to erase the past 30 years. Like, y'all can't just press rewind, fast forward, and speed up till today. So what y'all popping right now, y'all has not ever been popping like this before.
Here's what's actually on the table and why players keep walking away from it. The league's latest offer includes a $1 million base salary and a jump in the team salary cap from $1.5 million to $5 million. That would push the average player's salary to roughly $417,000, nearly 3 times what players were earning just 3 years ago. The proposal also adds full housing, comprehensive health care, and upgraded travel across the board. But the real conflict starts with revenue sharing. The league's offer gives players 50% of a specific revenue category, one that conveniently excludes media rights money and subtracts certain expenses before any split happens. Under this formula, players would actually end up with less than 15% of the league's total revenue. And that's the breaking point.
8 weeks into the season, he already faces a gambling scandal, which we've been covering that on the channel pretty much for the past couple months. It stated an investigation into the Clippers for alleged salary cap circumstance and the league's potential future in Europe. Well, about a month ago, Adam Silver vowed to take on another high-level item on his to-do list, and that is the WNBA collective bargaining agreement.
Adam Silver stepping in sends a clear message that many players may not fully grasp. The NBA has been subsidizing WNBA operations for 27 consecutive years. Every single season has run at a loss. Simply put, the league doesn't have profits to share. When Silver says he's willing to do whatever it takes, the real subtext is, resolve this before the NBA decides the investment isn't worth it anymore. The timeline is telling. Caitlin Clark debuted in April 2024, and suddenly the ratings soared. The Indiana Fever averaged 1.2 million viewers per regular season game, with playoff matchups hitting 3.2 million. That's undeniable, measurable growth. But one breakout rookie can't erase 3 decades of financial shortfalls. Owners have been covering deficits every year, and now they're being asked to split revenue that doesn't yet exist.
The WNBA and WBPA and more than a year into negotiations for a new transformational CBA agreement. We all know that deadline is coming up on January the 9th. Now, the results of a second extension as both sides continue to exchange proposals, with sources telling front office sports meetings are taking place almost daily. Players are not feeling hopeful at Silver. So it looked like players is telling.
This is where the conflict of interest gets really intriguing. Breanna Stewart, who publicly welcomed Adam Silver's involvement in negotiations, also serves as vice president of the Players' Union's executive committee. She's one of the lead negotiators sitting across from league ownership. But there's a twist. Stewart is also a co-founder of Unrivaled, the new 3-on-3 basketball league launching this month as a direct competitor to overseas opportunities. Now consider the incentives. If the WNBA hits a lockout, where do elite players go to stay sharp and earn a paycheck? Unrivaled suddenly becomes the primary option. Adding another layer, Stewart's co-founder at Unrivaled, Natha Collier, is also heavily involved in the CBA discussions. Some insiders are quietly questioning whether these players genuinely want a deal done before the season, or if a lockout might strategically benefit Unrivaled.
It is not rocket science with what is going on with the current state of the WNBA. let's get back to the article, man. So the article goes on to say Adam Silver stated more often than not, we're the ones. Oh no, I have to believe this is Kelsey Plum. She stated more often than not, we're the ones that we are willing to compress, and there still are big budget. Oh, this is Breonna Stewart, actually. My apologies. Goes on to say, who is also as vice president of the union's executive. Now,
The players' union keeps citing the NBA's revenue-sharing model as the standard they want to follow. In the NBA, players receive 50% of basketball-related income, a system that works because the league generates roughly $11 billion annually. By comparison, the WNBA brought in about $200 million in 2024. That sounds significant until you realize it's less than 2% of the NBA's revenue. Here's the math that matters. If WNBA players received a 50% revenue share like NBA players, divided across the league's 144 roster spots, the average salary would be around $690,000, well above the $417,000 currently on the table. But that assumes the league breaks even, which it doesn't. Once you factor in the WNBA's operating losses, the current proposal actually starts to look generous rather than unreasonable.
Unrivaled. At least they think it's going to help. I don't think Unrivaled is going to do very good this year. I just got to be honest. I don't even think I'm going to cover Unrivaled unless it's like some bombshell player or something like that to happen. I don't believe it's even going to be relevant, man. Now, it goes on to say earlier this month, a proposal included $1 million base salary, according to multiple sources familiar with the negotiations. In addition, the league proposed a revenue sharing model that would give players 50% of revenue metric that would not include all revenue and would have some expenses deducted. Under this proposal model, players would end up receiving less than 15% of league's total.
In December, Kelsey Plum made a revealing comment about the ongoing negotiations. She said the players are willing to compromise, but compromise requires both sides to give something up. So what exactly have the players compromised on? They rejected the initial proposal. They rejected the revised proposal with higher salary caps. Now they're demanding revenue-sharing terms that would force owners to continue covering massive losses while paying players as if the league were already profitable. That's not compromise. That's asking for NBA-level money with WNBA-level revenue. The owners did adjust some benefits in response, including changes to housing provisions, but that was a reaction to players rejecting earlier offers. In negotiation, turning down a deal doesn't automatically entitle you to every perk in the next one. That's basic bargaining. Some players seem to believe that because Caitlin Clark boosted ratings in 2024, they now hold permanent leverage. But leverage only exists if you're actually willing to walk away. And walking away from the WNBA would leave no league to return to.
The latest proposal that the ladies had an issue with. And to me, I don't get why they have an issue with that proposal, because that proposal seemed like that was something reasonable. But something that we have to keep an eye on here, on at least on my channel, is what is Caitlin Clark going to do? Project B is still on the table. Sophie Cunningham said like a few weeks ago that Caitlin Clark wasn't going to do Project B. As of right now, it don't look like it's going to be a WNBA. If there's not a WNBA, does that bring forth the next question that will she potentially take on the Project B offer? I don't know, man. Guys, get down in the comment section right now. Let me know y'all thoughts about that, man. Keep them bells on. I will be back with another one. So next time, man, shake the headers off. I'm out of here. Peace out.
Adam Silver's involvement sends a clear signal. This is serious. He doesn't step into negotiations lightly. As NBA commissioner, he's juggling labor issues, expansion, and international growth. For him to personally intervene in WNBA CBA talks means the deal is at real risk of collapsing. Silver says he's optimistic and points to the extended deadline as a sign both sides see a path forward, but read between the lines. Optimistic is diplomatic code for, this is a mess, but I'm trying to save it. The deadline has already been pushed twice, originally October 20th, then November, now January 9th, 2025. Sources tell Front Office Sports that meetings are happening nearly every day because time is running out. If January 9th arrives with no agreement, the consequences are severe. The league can impose a lockout. No games, no salaries, no season. The players can strike. and the result is the same.